Hey everybody, Danny Hauger here, and on November 20th I had the privilege of going to visit one of my former mentors and teachers, Melba Pattillo Beals. For many, Melba is a civil rights icon, including myself, and she's found in so many of our history books, and the stories that she has written document a time that was very difficult in our country. Melba was more than that to me. In fact, my first day of radio class at Dominican University of California, she was just my teacher. She was just Melba. And over the year and a half that I spent there, I was very much impacted by her wisdom and her influence. And as I learned her story, I knew that the words that she spoke to me would stay with me for a long time. She taught me about more than just radio, but about life and how to be a better person. In this interview, we talk about many things, including Little Rock High School in 1957. We talk about current events, how to be a good parent, and how to love yourself first before going out into the world and expecting other people to love you as well. I hope you gain insights from this interview. Feel free to leave a comment down below. And if you are touched by someone significant in your life, share with us how their stories have impacted the person that you've become. Without further ado, here's my conversation with Melba Pattillo Beals.
I will not fear. You're going to love where it is you're going, Danny. And so that's hard to do. But, little Melba was strange. At 4, I kept saying to everybody, where did I come from? And they said, the Stork brought you.
Right.
And I said, okay. And I thought, I really want to leave Little Rock. So I put my red wagon in front of the house every day, and I went and sat in my wagon waiting. And they said, what are you waiting for? And I said, the Stork. And they said, why? And I said, because if he delivered me, he delivered other people. And I'm going to fly right out of here with the Stork, right? And so you never know what a child is thinking. See, the one thing I do remember is when my daughter was little, she was strange. She came in one day at 4 and said, the cup and the straw are an integrated functioning system. The straw allows you to draw liquid out. Already then, my husband and I said, well, now, all right. And she said, I want puzzles. So we brought her back 3 or 4 puzzles. No, I want 9 puzzles. Why 9? So to entertain herself, she would dump all the contents on the floor and then try and put them together. Okay. And the doctor said, well, she's an accelerated child, and you have to deal with her on that level or you're lost. And so with every person you meet, they're accelerated in something.
Yeah.
And you have to deal with them on that level or you're lost. And it's fun when I taught to ask each class, why are you here? And what is it you would like to know by the end of the semester? You'd be surprised because half the students, some of them say, well, I know how to bake a lemon pie. Well, this is Sociology 101. We're unlikely to touch that subject. Yeah. So, but education is the most extraordinary key. And oddly enough, no matter who you are or where you came from or how oppressed you are, education is the key out.
What do you think it does for someone when they have a quality education?
Well, of all the things that influence you, it is my belief that your parenting, your religion, and your education are the 3 main tools of your life. If you're uneducated, it's like holding an umbrella directly above your head, and you're only going to go and do what is beneath that umbrella. Being uneducated is as though someone is ahead of you and above you, pushing you down. Education opens up your mind. It's like a flower opening up, and it is to you going to be the guide through life. It's how you step on the road. It's how you choose the road. It's how you make it down the road. What road are you going? Well, everybody's going on some road. Would you like to go on the informed road where you know kind of what's coming and you prepare for it? Or would you like to just dance, unguided and without purpose in the wind? Well, education is what most people need. Now, there's some genius people, obviously, founder of Apple. There's some people that just don't need it. They're born with it. They're born with the tools. Some people are born with incredible tools.
I mean, we both have strong maternal influences from our mothers, and I read that your mom was one of the first African-American graduates in 1954.
Right.
How did watching her reach those heights
Your kids are the only thing your kids can look to is you and what you accomplish. And so you can't say to kids, do this. You have to do it yourself. They don't do what you tell them, really. They do what they see. So the fact that every September my mother was both taught and went to school, and the fun part for me was to leaf through the brand new books she got, and then she would teach me every day a new word. Phenomenon was one, for example. That was such a word. Phenomenon. I'd say phenomenon. And so you seeing differently and being exposed to all these points of view are what make you want to go forward. Anyways, my grandmother was the greater rock to my mom. My grandmother, I didn't go to her funeral and refused to see her dead because my grandmother for me is alive today. I write a lot about her in my books because she was at the core of my understanding of humanity, at the core of my understanding of religion, and at the core of my understanding myself. I would go in the backyard every day and late in the afternoon with her, and she would water her 4 o'clock plants. And that's when I'd ask her all sorts of questions about, what are we doing here in Little Rock? Why are we here? Mm-hmm. I'd ask questions until it was time to leave. Because when she left, she would take out of the bag one of the quilts that maybe she had done or something like that and put it around my shoulders, and we could talk more. I asked her all the questions that you would ask somebody. And so, yeah, she was my everything. And I write, she was my Christmas, my New Year, she was my everything. Because my mother was a genius, an intellectual who was busy going to school, being educated. Whereas my grandmother was home and I could talk to her all the time. That's another aspect I think is important in parenting, is you have to talk to your children. And that means to shut up. Don't lecture all the time. Now, some people are inspired. Many of the people who are stars, or many people say that the fact that their parents worked very hard as a maid or as a whatever made them, rise up to be who they are. But generally, children see their parents as role models, generally. And so that's all, you're all they have. For the first few years of her life, little Dana isn't going to know very many more people other than you and her mother, right? And you're going to be amazed when she gets older how much she mimics what you do. I used to use one curse word, but I was Miss Religious, Miss Wonderful, other than that. And when I was pregnant with a second child, I would walk up the stairs and I'd get to the top stair almost, and I'd be so tired I'd go, oh, blah. And then one day, Kelly, who at the time was 3, I watched her. She walked up the stairs. Second from the top, she went, put her hand on her knee, breathed really deeply and said, oh, blah. Mm-hmm. I never said that word again. Because I realized every single thing that came out of my mouth, didn't matter what I said, mattered what I did. So, oh yeah, parenting has changed me, I would say 100%. Adopting 2 boys at 50 completely altered my life. Completely altered my life. I went back to school, got another doctorate. I have written books. A lot of stuff that I did after 50.
That's interesting because I'm always thinking about what's next, and it's hard. Did you feel like you could see what's coming around the corner, or did you have to get there and experience it once you had the kids and be like, okay, now I see I need this, or this is my next step?
This is what trust in God is that if you really trust God, you're willing to step out into off the branch of the tree.
Yeah.
It's like my grandmother used to say, if you are falling off the side of a mountain and you don't know how will you get saved? How will you save yourself? First, consider what you could do, right? I could grab this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
And past that, look at the scenery and enjoy, because you're protected by God. I think we are gaining just because more people talk about it. And more people are willing to admit that how you feel about me, how I'm treated as an individual is important. The essential thing that a child must have. My little boys who were little, they were cutest twins in the world. People kept wanting them to model, but I was advised by a therapist, and I know it to be true, that they didn't have time to model. If they were going to live and be well, I had to do things with them that made them believe they were needed, they were wanted, and they were loved. Mm-hmm. So all their life, I say it too often, I love you. They'll say, I love you, Mommy, and I'll say, but I love you more. So allowing your baby to believe that, she might be able to get a snack here or a snack there, and then treating her with respect as to what she chooses and how she grows up in terms of exercising her opinion. And sometimes her opinion is not going to agree with yours. You're going to walk into her bedroom and think, oh my God, this is hideous. The turquoise floor, the red top, oh my God. Could I have possibly, how did I go wrong as a parent? Well, you didn't go wrong as a parent. You do have to make them think that you absolutely adore them and that you honor and worship their skills and talent as they are. The willingness to take a risk. We can't always all not be in pain. One of the scary things about some of the black people I meet these days is to talk to them about freedom and they want it, but they say, we don't understand why you're willing to risk all that you were. You got to understand, how much do you want what you want? And what are you willing to do to get it is a big question that pervades your entire life, Danny.
Yeah.
Say, God is with me. I know that it's going to be okay, and this risk is necessary. I can't be comfortable Melba all the time. Well, no, because whatever you do, Danny, there's going to be challenge in it. And you can't sit home and say, well, you know, for example, when we went to Little Rock recently for the 60th anniversary, well, I wrote an article about this. One of the things that made me sad was not only did I require the FBI, but I required the Little Rock Police and Special Service to take care of me. That meant I was in more danger than before because we got all these death threats on the internet. Well, now, do I stay home because of that? Can't do it. So I've lived a life of risk.
Yeah.
On the internet at any time. I've had to move because of it. I've lived in houses in Sausalito where somebody got a hold of my dress. Not only did they come over and boom my tires 3 nights and days, but they were just a menace. I thought,
How do you keep love in your heart?
that's hard sometimes, but if you can't keep love in your heart, you spend a lot of time hating. Hating is an exhausting thing. And I do get pissed off at people. Don't tell me I don't. But then I have to like pull it in and say, look, at the time I'm wasting. And usually this is the fun part when you do that. When you're hating somebody and really wanting to put them down, you know what happens? Half the people don't know it. That's number one. And secondly, they don't care. You're busy thinking you're hurting them. Not really. Not really. You're really hurting yourself.
Are you able to turn it as motivation for yourself?
Sometimes, yeah. And in Central High School, there was certainly some motivation.
What do you take joy in now?
Watching the soaps. I love shopping. I love Christmas.
Has your Christmas season started? Does it start after Thanksgiving? Is it now?
Mine started in July. And they have Christmas in July over QVC. I bought my tree then, my fluffy floss tree, and I sing the music. And my children just hate it. My grandmother always said I was in the interesting part of the calendar because, you know, I'm like, July, I'm like, oh, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. August, I'm Nat King Cole. And I'm just like, Temptations. Now I'm Temptations and their Christmas album. You know, I'm way into music. I was People Magazine's rock music critic for a while. And that was fun. I did a lot of stuff in my life. The other thing in your life is if you decide you want to do something, take a break, go.
Yeah.
You're not confined to one area. And particularly, they thought I was confined because I'm a black female. Well, you know.
Yeah, see how that...
First time I showed up, imagine this was in the 70s. I was in the 70s and 80s. I was working with people. I showed up with my ID on, and Grateful Dead treated me like dog poop. The rock and roll groups, they would not believe. They didn't think, you know, there was the groups that were popular. That was, you know, what's Welcome to the Hotel California, those guys.
The Eagles.
My favorites of Eagles. I loved their work. And there was just all sorts of people that that were really young, like when I was doing it, that Journey. And a lot of interesting people. And I had fun observing and learning more about rock music, and that was interesting, you know. But I'd show up and they'd say, first I was older, pudgy little black lady. I'd say, well, careful. I'm the one that's going to be writing about your album.
Yeah.
Yada, yada, yada. I know you want something positive, don't you?
Were you able to still... What kind of review did they get?
If they were bad, they got bad.
Is that true? That's it?
Yeah, but if they were good, they were good. Most of the ones I went to were good.
I think
There was some great music in that era. But some of those guys really misbehaved. I watched that guy, what's his face, out of the Eagles. They used to take hacksaws and they'd go into hotels and... Bad boys, but I enjoyed every moment of that.
Well, there's an interesting question then. Does someone, a musician, a comedian, anybody, do their personal actions affect whether or not you can enjoy their art?
Good question. In some ways it does. Like what's his face, who's the movie maker? I love his movies, but he's accused of being a pedophile. I can't attend those movies.
Right? How about like a Bill Cosby? Can you still watch the Cosby Show, or is it?
I actually cry. I cry because they had the 50 ladies on the cover of People magazine, and you know, all these ladies are not doing this for nothing. And I just, you know, it makes me sad when people like Cosby achieve something that no one else has achieved, a pedestal that no black man has ever gone to, and then he's gonna soil it like that. Look how many kids look to him as a role model. It's like Obama, you know, he was so much and he had so much. Look at all the people that look up to him.
Yeah.
But I pray a lot. That's really the only thing you have is your prayer. And I say this little thing, which is God loves me. Some days are so difficult. First of all, I don't like being a little old person. I don't like, and all of it doesn't have to do with age. I probably should be thinner. I don't like the time. I should have spent more time. This shoulda, woulda, coulda. As an athlete, I should have exercised more. I should have paid attention to all parts of my body, and you almost do that because you will get old. Take care of your body as well as your mind. I was really invested in my mind, and you can't do that. You have to take care of both. You do have to run, exercise, do all the stuff that they say you have to do. You have to do it. Older now is when I learned you need to start preparing for old age now. Not later. Donnie, why are you putting away that $100 a month for old age? Because it's more difficult than you think. And old age is a compilation, a gathering of all your unsolved problems. Remember that. That's a Christian Science saying.
Okay.
Old age is a compilation of all your unsolved problems.
Oh, that scares
So all
me.
the things that I was when I was younger that I shouldn't have been, overeating, here you go. I don't move as fast. I need more surgery. I don't want it because my heart's not going to take it. You weaken all of your organs by being overweight, by not taking care of yourself when you're younger. And so now it's my time to contend with them. I just got a treadmill for seniors. It only goes 5 miles an hour, and you put your hands on the edge, and if you press a certain button, it screams. And you tie a thing to your clothes. And if you fall backwards or something, the thing goes off with a siren, right? So it takes energy to be old and not in good shape. Now, so age is just a number. But to me, it's a burden because I'm not getting around. I like to go. I was like a bull in a china shop, but now I can't drive. So that's why for a driver, and I don't like that part of it. But my best advice is start planning for it when you're 25. Yes, go. Balance your life. Balance is the key. Here's what I tell. Is it how blessed are you?
Yeah.
There's only one of you.
Yeah. Okay.
God made only one of you. And you have to know how important you are. And when you talk ill about someone else, you diminish your own importance. You're not really doing anything to hurt somebody else. You're diminishing who you are. And always, always respect the people that you come in touch with because where did they come from? Who made them? The same God that made you. Whoever you worship, right? So there's no one on the planet accidentally. Everybody's here for a reason. And whomever your little partner is, your little friend is, I don't care what they look like, what they eat, how they speak, they're an equal. Respect them. Because unless you respect them, you can't respect yourself. You have to respect yourself in order to have carved out where you're going. If you don't have a map that says where you're going, and you don't think about it, you're likely not to get there. I'm not, as an individual, a human on the earth, an inspiration. I just try to do my best every day. But whatever words, whenever I speak, may the words of my heart be acceptable in thy sight. And so it's what God wants to convey to you. And remember, everything you feel aside, or how we have to spend some time, Danny, finding our own balance. Like today when you leave, I'll meditate and pray, and I'll say, oh God, there must be a willingness and an acceptance of who you are. Right. And before you can really love anybody else, you have to like Danny.
Such words of wisdom shouldn't be soon forgotten. And I'm so privileged to be able to have had this conversation with Melba, but more than that, a 1.5 years worth of class, wisdom, and so much more than lecture, but conversation and dialogue. And I continue to teach my students her story and hope that many generations will learn to be brave, courageous, and loving, just as Melba was. I'm Danny Hauger. Thanks for listening, liking, and subscribing, and we'll see you on the next edition of Danny Hauger Interviews, Danny Hauger Podcasts, or right here on YouTube. Thank you for watching.